What was your takeaway? I mean, you guys did a lot of experiments while you were out there. You had a lot of late nights. You're home now. What, did you come to any conclusions?
Well, like I had mentioned while we were out there, I think, just getting into it, we opened up a box, or I guess the analogy of starting a string, a ball of yarn, right? You start pulling on it, realize there's more and more and more. So we don't have any conclusions as of yet, but we've turned up now. I think we're up to about 6 to 8 possible witnesses of what we believe is the same phenomena. And I was absolutely impressed by the impeccable testimony of each of these witnesses, the credibility, and the fact that they're describing such very similar things. To be there on location, you just can't replace that experience to be able to have him tell the story, because there's parts of it that get lost, when you're just hearing it, on the phone.
Yeah, and I'm no UFO expert. You've been doing this for decades, but I am pretty good at, I think, figuring out if people are being honest with me just from all the years of doing interviews and stuff. And I agree with what you said. I mean, I found them both to be very, very genuine, and I never, you get that feeling sometimes when you think someone's making something up. I didn't get that at all. A few people here were just asking me, oh, but Diane, how did she lose the photos? She said she wiped, and of course it is like, oh, she lost the photos, but she wiped her phone. And the thing that kind of saved her is in the police report, she showed the police the photos when they showed up, right? So, I mean, we know the photos exist, and you guys have actually talked to the police officer.
Yeah, and I have no way to explain that, because I get when skeptics say, well, coincidentally, evidence was lost and things like that. Hey, look, we lost the original moon landing video. It was recorded over. So, I mean, those things happen. But we did have that witness of a police officer from another PD who responded to this call for help. She was freaked out enough, as she said. She didn't want to walk out to the parking lot. And so on her phone, she showed her these photos. Now, the officer told us that she was so astounded by how bright this thing was. In her opinion, this was not anything conventional. We're going off of the idea that we need to eliminate every possible prosaic explanation, such as Chinese or sky lanterns, the possibility of drones, and the possibility of it being a manned craft of some sort. But if you look back at Officer Klein standing there on the location, just listening to what he said instantly, we're still going to do the test, but instantly you pretty much have to eliminate all 3 of those in the way that it appeared and then how it moved.
And you were able to get some new drone footage of the spot where Officer Klein says he saw the light. Show us that, walk us through what that shows.
So this particular body of water, is this reservoir, it's important for us to see the whole kind of drive up from where he was, coming up this. It's a 2-lane highway. It's about 11:30 at night. So from the daytime, what we wanted to do there on location was for him to take us to what we call ground zero. And from ground zero, we're looking out towards the east at about, we figured 60 to 70 degrees magnetic. So you're almost looking directly east. And then what we have to do is take measurements. Okay, well, the reservoir that time of year, how full would it have been? How far across was it? Can we pinpoint where the object may have been? So now we start breaking down the video. And so all of this is really important, because we do use trigonometry. Dr. Bittner is really good at being able to use things such as the reflection that we were seeing, to be able to determine an approximation of where approximately where it was and how fast it was going, perhaps.
Yeah, the way he explained the reflection was interesting. And even just being out there talking to locals, what we learned about, there was actually a town underneath that reservoir. There was a town that they covered with water in the early 1900s. They built this reservoir for another nearby city. And it was fascinating to hear sort of the history of the whole thing, and kind of creepy too. Tomorrow night, Ben, we're gonna have a whole nother part of this, of what we shot. We found out that these reports go back decades. There's been a number of sightings in the 60s, 70s, 80s that we're going to get in the same exact spot that we're going to get into tomorrow night. So, Ben, thank you.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.